The Shoe Mall for Life by Dennis Tardan. In the universe of our dimension, whose proper name is completely unpronounceable by the vocal cords of human beings, there was a brand new angel about to begin her very first assignment. She was attending angel orientation in the heaven that was assigned to this particular universe. This new angel had been posted to the third planet in a rather nondescript solar system, located about 2/3 of the way out from the center of one of the billions upon billions of galaxies in this universe. Time and distance are, of course, no challenges for angels. They are able to appear instantaneously anywhere they might be needed to fulfill their prime directive: inspiration and client support. Page 1 of the Angel Orientation Handbook states that the top priority for any angel embarking on a new assignment was to get to know your client group. Superior customer service was valued most highly by upper management, and every angel, newbie or veteran, took it quite seriously. The little angel's assignment was to support beings who called themselves humans, on a planet these beings had named Earth. She knew from the handbook that her assignment would be of an invisible nature, with optional human form available should it become absolutely necessary for completion of her mission. Her mentor, an angel with numerous tours of duty on this particular planet, came by to offer her charge some advice. "These humans are quite an interesting lot," the elder angel said. "In order to gain some insight about them, I found context to be extremely helpful. I recommend you study their religions, which is how they relate to a power that is greater than they are. Doing so will give you perspective about these fascinating beings." "Wonderful," said the little angel, grateful to have clear direction. "How do I begin?" Without a word, the mentor reached down and gently touched the end of her nose. In less than an instant, the little angel found herself transported. She was standing in front of an enormous building which covered a great expanse. There was a bright neon sign over the entrance which read, "Shoe Mall for Life. Everyone welcome." Her curiosity was completely piqued, and she joined the throng of humans who were entering the building. Once inside, she saw an expansive atrium, teeming with humans going in and out of stores on each side of the mall. For as far as she could see, there were shoe stores of every size and description. There were huge franchise operations, mom-and-pop stores, and even the occasional kiosk and a boutique. One of the first stores she came to was named the Judaism Shoe Store. She saw that shoes here came in 3 basic varieties, from rough-hewn to ultra-modern. All the shoes were built very sturdy, and all had a lovely blue flag with gold 6-pointed star logo on their sides. In addition, each pair had a small scroll attached that described the history of the shoes, as well as detailed instructions that needed to be followed in order to maintain the soles in top condition. The next store the little angel strolled past was the Islam Shoe Store. She decided to go inside. She found the Islam Shoe Store divided into 2 parts, with signs directing customers to the shoes of their choosing. Most of the shoes were for those who called themselves Sunnis, and the other roughly 20% of the shelf space was reserved for shoes for Shiites. Each Islam shoe came with a small glass dome built into the top that could be easily seen by the wearer. Inside the dome was a pointer with an M affixed to it. No matter which way the wearer turned, the dial always pointed in the same direction. The tag on the shoes said, "Always know your way to Mecca." The little angel observed there was an upper level in the Islam Shoe Store reserved for people called Sufis. Their shoes were very light and made for dancing, ideal in case they got the urge to whirl. Continuing her tour, she noticed a sweet, pungent smell drifting out of the Rastafarian shoe store, one of the boutique stores. Rhythmic music pulsed from the shop, and when she peered inside, she saw a sign that said all shoes were made of 100% genuine hemp. Stylish five-pointed leaves were stitched onto their high tops. Next door was the Buddhism shoe store. The decor was austere, with very little furniture or noisy advertising. There was muted lighting and a peaceful, cascading fountain. She saw that the people who were getting their shoes here prized functionality. They were looking for solid models that would help them maintain their balance. The next establishment that attracted her attention was a huge store, and the sign over the entrance said it was the Hinduism shoe store. All the advertising in this store extolled the durability and longevity of their shoes. Every shoe in the Hindu store came with a quick-release mechanism that would allow the wearer to easily put on brand new uppers while keeping the soles they brought with them. It was a very ingenious system. On the other side of the mall, across from the Hinduism shoe store, was a store that was named the Christianity shoe store. It was a vast establishment with a great stream of people going in and out. Inside this store, the little angel saw more varieties of shoes than she'd seen in any of the other stores. She was fascinated. As she wandered about, she noticed some people liked their shoes extremely tight, with very little wiggle room. Others craved big, roomy shoes that were built for comfort and allowed them to stretch their toes and to slip in and out of easily. Some people liked their shoes with laces very straight, while others were most interested in their soles being flame retardant. A great many liked having a big bright J logo emblazoned on the ankle of their shoes, while others preferred a more discreet logo that was woven subtly into their fabric. The little angel was fascinated to see that people in the Christianity store seemed to love shopping. They would try on this shoe and then that shoe, and keep trying on other shoes until they found the perfect fit. There seemed to be a very liberal return policy in the Christianity store, and the exchange department was doing a booming business. Opposite this store was a store named New Age Shoes. What a bright and festive place this was! Humans were bustling all around the store, and she saw that they were making their own shoes. They would select a piece of fabric from this table, eyelets from that bin, and collages of cloth and decorations of every color and texture imaginable. Then they would take their shoes, along with the selections they had gathered, over to a sewing machine and proceed to create custom-made shoes. As the little angel came out of the New Age shoe store, she noticed that most of the people who came out of the stores were headed toward the other end of the mall. She decided to find out where they were going. At the far end of the mall, there was a wall. Queues of humans were waiting patiently for their turn to stand in front of the wall. When a human got to the front of the line, a door would materialize in front of them. The person would step through the portal, and then the door would vanish. It was all extremely orderly, and the lines were reasonably short with little waiting time. The little angel was curious and decided to investigate what happened after the humans stepped through the wall. She returned to the entrance of the shoe mall for life, extended her retractable wings, and flew around the back of the building to see where the people were going. What she saw was a truly amazing sight. Here was a huge open-air area filled with winding paths paths of every description. Some of the paths were extremely long indeed, while others were very, very short. Some paths were gently sloped and tree-lined, leading by beautiful still waters, while other paths were quite steep and strewn with rocks and other challenging hindrances. Most paths were a combination of easy walking for great distances and great obstacles, where it took much hard scrabbling for the humans to make it just a few feet along their way. She observed that no two paths were alike, and there seemed to be a rule that there was only one person to a path. She noted that many paths ran close together for long stretches. Others intersected with adjacent paths many times along the way. Everyone who wanted to could reach out and get a handhold from humans who were walking on nearby paths. A great many humans offered a hand to others, and it seemed to bring them pleasure as they traversed their journeys. All through the paths, she saw numerous traveling peddlers who had carts filled with shoes in an excellent variety of sizes. Some of the peddlers appeared just to be making their way along their own particular path, and would, almost casually, interact with a fellow traveler who would inquire about a new pair of shoes. If these humans felt their shoes weren't suited to their path, didn't fit as well as they had hoped, or were worn thin, they would try on a new pair, accept or reject the new shoes, and then resume their journey. Other peddlers had dazzling neon signs on their carts with loud, fancy sound systems that announced the extraordinary, amazing, ultra-functional, life-enhancing, and très fashionable qualities of their shoes. These peddlers always seemed to attract large crowds, some of who were barefoot, others well-shod, who would clamor to try on the new shoes. The little angel observed that these peddlers were quite popular and did a very brisk business. Speaking of barefoot, the little angel did notice a number of people who weren't wearing any shoes. Some of these humans appeared to be totally comfortable that way, irrespective of the sharp rocks along their paths. Apparently, they felt their souls were tough enough to withstand any obstacles they might encounter. Others, who were also barefoot, appeared to struggle mightily as they encountered rocks and other prickly objects that were strewn along their paths. These folks would approach the wandering shoe peddlers and keep trying on pairs of shoes until they finally found a pair that suited them. The little angel found it fascinating that some of the people who were walking the smoothest and most pastoral of paths didn't seem to be happy. It was obvious that they were not enjoying their journeys, and she noted that these people wore shoes of every brand and description. And even more interesting were other humans whose paths looked extremely arduous and challenging, with many detours, dead ends, switchbacks. Yet a number of these people seemed quite peaceful as they traversed their paths. She observed two primary activities of the humans as they made their way along the paths. Some humans would stoop down, pick up a rock, and put it in their pocket, purse, or pack. Other humans would stop for a moment and collect flowers, some merely stopping to admire their beauty or take in their aroma. Every time someone picked up a rock, their load would become significantly heavier. And yet, many of these people continued to pick up rock after rock until they could barely struggle under the weight. The exact opposite happened when they gathered flowers, which came in seemingly endless varieties. Every time a human stopped to admire a flower or to pick one, their load was lightened, and they seemed to get a spring in their step and an ease in their gait. There were long paths, short paths, and paths of every length and every description. At the end of each path was a beautiful mist that the humans would enter. Some humans were very peaceful about doing so. Others looked quite afraid to pass through and dug in their heels. It didn't seem to make any difference what kind of shoes they'd been wearing or if they were barefoot. All humans who got to the ends of their paths finally stepped into the lovely haze. The scene at the Shoe Mall for Life dissolved before her very eyes, and the little angel found herself back with her mentor, who was wearing a knowing smile. The little angel felt she understood something very important about her new clients. She vowed to be that tiny breath of inspiration, that whisper of intuition, that nudge of willingness that would help her clients seek a religion, should they desire one, that would suit them perfectly, so they could have the best experience that their precious lives could offer. This is going to be a wonderful assignment, she thought. And then she rolled up her pretty pink sleeves and got to work.